Welcome back to KBC News Check. On the second hour, we are looking at the film industry in Kenya. I remember late last year, Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba did ink a number of deals with the Hollywood studios to promote and develop Kenya film industry. That's just one. We have the Kalasha Awards, our own Academy Awards. That the function will be on 31st of
on
30th of March, and we have the CEO of the Kenya Film Commission, Bwana Timothy Owase, to just guide us and tell us exactly where are we as a film industry, which is providing a number of even job opportunities for our creatives and indeed our youth. Bwana Owase, karibu sana.
Thank you for hosting me.
First and foremost, what is the status of the Kenya film industry?
I'll start by appreciating that the film industry in Kenya is a growing space, and so many young people are interested to operate within this particular space, and it's a growing area that everyone needs to actually support. Kenya Film Commission has a mandate to develop, promote, and market Kenya as a filming destination. So we are interested and deliberately supporting the film industry by acting as a catalyst for growth. When you look at the figures, the year 2022, Kenya Film Commission was able to partner with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics to come up with the specific figures on how much the film industry was able to contribute to the exchequer. And I'm happy to report that from the inaugural findings, we found that that particular year we were able to contribute 38 billion Kenya shillings.
38 billion?
38 billion. And that is just the inaugural survey that was undertaken by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. So for me, that is just clearly an indication that we have an opportunity to nurture this industry, give it the right space and the impetus so that we can be able to reap more benefits. Yes.
And before even we look at the Kalasha Awards, I'm quite sure a lot of viewers want to know more about that. Late last year, the Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba did ink a number of deal with the Hollywood studios. Tell us more about that, and how are we bound to benefit as a country and also for the creative industry?
I think we need to look at the bigger picture. During the Jamhuri Day, that is last December, His Excellency the President announced the incoming of Invention Studios, who are actually coming in from Hollywood to partner with the local filmmakers to come up with various productions. And indeed, last month, Honorable Minister for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Ababu Namwamba, was able to host the President of Invention Studios, where we were able to roll out or come up with a specific roadmap as to how Invention Studio is going to partner with the Kenyan producers to tell Kenyan stories. The interest here is to have Kenyan stories going to the international market. And the best way to do that is to ensure that we have more co-production arrangements between Kenyan producers and foreign producers. Not only are we focusing on United States, but we're also looking at other markets. We would like to partner more with the African countries, Asian countries, and also see to it that we expand the market for Kenyan content products. Yes.
And what incentives are you working on to make Kenya a destination for foreign? We have seen a number of movies being shot here, Tomb Raider, we've seen a number of high-level films being produced to come up and shoot here and boost also the creative economy, as well as also train the local crew.
Well, when you talk about incentives, incentives is an impetus to help a destination to operate in a very competitive manner, and Kenya is not being left behind. We have finalized on the film incentives for this market so that we can be able to attract more big budget films. And when we attract more big budget films, that will mean that we are creating opportunities for more of our local crew. We also provide avenues for hotels and other professionals. As you know, the film industry provides an array of activities. Whenever you have a production taking place to your locale, what comes out is that you affect so many people positively in terms of transport, supplies, in terms of hotel, accommodation, food, and so on. So for us, the more production take place in Kenya, the more benefits the country gain. And that's why we are keen to see to it that we are able to attract the more big budget films on location. And of course, not only incentives will be able to drive more production in the country, Kenya naturally stands a pole position when it comes to the environment. Look at our locations. We have magnificent locations. We have talented crew and very many young people who are interested to operate in this area. And of course, supportive government in a way that Kenya Film Commission offers liaison services, and we are always ready to work with the filmmakers from A to Z whenever we have productions taking place in Kenya. So that is work in progress, and I can assure you, supporting the film industry is the sure way of assuring everyone prosperity in terms of social well-being and economic well-being. Yes.
And most of the artists that we have in the country, you know, the film industry don't quite well pay well to the point that they can do it as full-time. Some are doing it at full-time, but some are not because it's not quite robust that it should be. But you'll be telling us what you guys are doing to ensure that this could be just anybody who wants to do film will do film full-time.
That's a very good point.
All right, just hold up. But just in case you joined us, I'm hosting Timothy Owase, who is the CEO of the Kenya Film Commission, and we're also looking at the Kalash Awards, which he will be telling us more about it. But before we crossed over to Kisumu, I was asking, how do we make the film industry more robust to ensure that you don't find a thespian is also a news anchor here, and is also does some electrical work or works in a bank, makes it a full-time job?
That's our interest. I will use the analogy for marketers. When you introduce a product in the market, what happens that you need to nurture this product so that it is accustomed by the purchasers of this particular product. The film industry is an emerging industry in Kenya, and we already see the potential that it has. And of course, from where I sit, it's my rallying call that we nurture and ensure that we have a solid industry where we've got filmmaker that focuses on storytelling as their full-time job. And this can be achieved through the various programs that Kenya Film Commission is currently rolling out. For example, continuous funding of film projects, providing incentives that will be able to act as a catalyst to ensure that there is growth within this film industry, training, building capacity in terms of skills development, and also seeing to it that we have infrastructural development that will ensure that high quality products are available, and these products have an international market. And that's why you can see this month the Kenya Film Commission is going to host the Kalasha International Film and TV Market Festival and the awards. These are 3 events that are actually combined into one between the 27th to 30th of March, where everyone comes together to connect, trade, do co-productions, and it's an international film market and festival for a reason. Because not only are we looking at the local film market, but we are saying we've got producers here in Kenya. How do we see to it that our producers are able to co-produce with their counterparts in Rwanda, in South Africa, in the US, in China, and all other countries? Opportunities are immense. So to your point, I think I do agree with you that we need to nurture the industry to a sense that we should be able to have very specialized professionals within the industry, so that if you are a writer, you should not be thinking about how you can become a lawyer, but you can actually consolidate and focus only on writing as your specialty, so that anyone who wants a copy to be written or a script to be written, they know that you are the specialist and you are being paid what is valuable to you. And how to achieve that, of course, will come from the legal and legislative framework that will be able to cement the film guilds in the country. We should be able to have rate cards that assures filmmakers that any time I'm contracted to an activity, I'm assured of X amount of money to be paid.
I'm saying this because I've had it myself. I started out as an actor at the National Theatre in 2001, and with the likes of Kazungu Matano, we have the MP for Langata, Felix Oduor Jalango. We also have Mbusi, who is a renowned radio presenter. And back then, you had to do something else so that you may...
I think you need to come back.
I need to come back.
You need to come back because the situation has changed.
Yes, I know it has
Today
changed
we have many filmmakers who rely on filmmaking as their full-time employment.
Yes, and still on the same, can Kenya Film Commission do more on creating viewing spaces? And especially, can they give maybe a list of hubs where a filmmaker can go for screening? I know here at KBC we have a program, Cinemas and Theatre, which also gives our audience an opportunity to showcase and see what Kenya has to offer.
Yes.
And what do we need to do more, and especially Kenya Film Commission, in regards to viewing? Because people have to see what Kenya has to offer.
I have a program, I call it Audience Development Program. And this is all about creating a screening culture in Kenya. We are rallying this program in a way that we are attracting Kenyans to go back to cinema. We would like to create an environment where it should be upon us as Kenyans that every day we are willing to walk into a cinema hall to watch a Kenyan movie and pay for it what is due. Of course, we are not saying that people should not go to pubs and all that. They can be able to have other forms of entertainment, but film provides larger than life form of entertainment, because as you walk into a cinema hall, you spend, let's say, 300 shillings or 150 shillings, you're actually creating an opportunity for that writer, for that actor, for that cinematographer, which is very paramount to our creative economy, and at the same time giving us room to tell our stories the best way we can. And when we tell more of our stories, we gain more benefits as compared to any other industry. Think about cohesion and integration, branding our nation. Think about how we can be able to influence issues of insecurity, ethics, cohesion, among others. And when we do this, it's an easy way of marketing a country, branding a country, and also just bringing people together, which is very fundamental.
And what is happening in the Kenya film sector? Because if you ask me, the last 5 years, the industry is becoming more and more robust. I'm saying this because I've seen international organizations like Netflix, Maisha Magic, they want content from Kenya. What is Kenya Film Commission doing to ensure that we broaden this space?
We are creating more collaborations. I can assure you, before the year 2019, Kenya did not have even a single film product on an international streaming platform. But right now, as we speak, we have over 25 film projects or programs that are currently running on international platforms, which is a remarkable improvement. And again, this is as a result of various factors. Think about technological advancements, Kenya having a huge penetration in terms of internet access, and again, more localized stories. You realize that the population in our country and in the region, almost everyone wants to watch a story that they can be able to relate to. So the demand for content is very high, and that's why you can see that there is a huge increase in terms of the number of products that are coming out. Of course, beyond that, Kenya Film Commission has also been very deliberate to come up with programs that enable filmmakers to tell their stories. We have partners like the German government that has supported a number of our programs to see to it that we have more projects coming up. When we have more projects being produced in Kenya, then that gives us an opportunity to compete with any other market. Capacity building programs, My Kenya, My Story film competition, Kalasha International Film and TV Market as a platform where buyers and sellers of content can be able to come and actually have the business of film. Beyond that, working with the global giants like Netflix, among others, gives us an avenue to have more Kenyan content creators getting an opportunity to tell their stories to the world. And that's why I have a simple mantra that through storytelling, we can have Kenya to the world and the world to Kenya. And that's why it's very important that we all rally around storytelling.
All right. Let's go to the Kalasha, the 13th edition of Kalasha Award. I'm quite sure a number of viewers are waiting for that. This is scheduled to be the highlight of the week. The festival that you said is going to be for 3 days, right?
This time round, Kalasha International Film and TV Market Festival and Awards is quite different. Previously, I believe you are used to watching Kalasha Awards
Yes.
as an evening event.
Yes.
But this time round, we are hosting almost a 5-day event because we are running Kalasha International Film and TV Market from the 27th of March all the way to 30th. And the Kalasha Awards will happen the final day, which is 30th of March, where we will award about 39 categories in various categories that have been voted by Kenyans and so on and so forth.
And you talked about 15, there were 1,500 entries.
We had 250 submissions with 1,500 entries, which is a remarkable improvement from the previous years because this is attributed to the number of productions that have taken place in the past year. And to me, this is a sign of growth in the film industry. And again, this is attributed to the robust programs that Kenya Film Commission is rolling out in terms of training, facilitating the film industry to be able to tell these stories. Remember, anytime we send out a call for funding, we get thousands of applications, which means there are so many stories out there that need to be facilitated so that they can be able to see the light of day. And that's what the Commission is doing.
And still on the Kalasha, looking at 1,500 entries across 37 categories, this is more or less the Academy Awards, so to speak, the Kenyan version. And how do you come about the categorization of the group, the vetting process, and the nomination itself?
Very well. Remember, this is the 13th edition of Kalasha Awards. While it is the 13th edition, in itself confirms that we've had a serious experience on hosting Kalasha. We started off Kalasha 1 in the year 2009, all the way to where we are today. And on 30th of March 2024, we'll be hosting the 13th edition. Based on experience, we send out a call where we request filmmakers to submit their interest to participate in Kalasha Awards in various categories. And as we speak now, we have 39 categories. Of course, 2 of them being special awards, but 7 being competitive awards. And to execute this, we normally have an academy, or the nomination academy, or the jury members who are drawn from the industry as well as from the region to see to it that these are the people who are neutral and they are able to sieve through all productions that have been submitted to be able to meet the nomination category. When we get the nominated films, then we allow this to go to the market for voting purposes, where 20% is voted by the public and 80% given by the jury members. Out of this, we get the winners who finally get announced during the actual gala dinner.
And still, you've mentioned something on the Academy Awards, and as the Kenya Film Commission, you submitted Mvera for the Academy Awards in the United States. Maybe you can take us through that.
Of course, every year, the Oscars are executed in the United States, and there is an international category which Kenya basically qualifies to submit. We normally send out an annual call to allow Kenyan producers to submit their entries as long as they are able to meet the criteria set out by the Oscars. Last year, we had we sent out a call, which we were only able to get 2 submissions, because when we look at the criteria that has been set out by the Oscars, the specifics in terms of what has to be met are very strict to an extent that not so many people are able to submit their entries. So we got 2 entries, and out of these 2 entries, Mvera was picked by the academy, the local academy for the Oscars, to be submitted to represent Kenya as a Kenyan submission to the Oscars.
And other than Mvera, how can our artists break through the international market? And we have at least Lupita Nyong'o that we can brag about, so that which give them unlimited exposure now that we have different outlets that our Kenyan filmmakers and even cinema producers can actualize the dreams of being filmmakers.
Kenya is very deliberate on going to the international market, and that's why the elements of co-production treaties are very fundamental. Remember, the year 2022 in November, Kenya signed an audiovisual agreement with South Africa, And this audiovisual co-production agreement is aimed at connecting South African producers with the Kenyan producers, so that when we have two countries being able to do co-production, then we are expanding the scope in which Kenyan stories can be consumed by our counterparts in South Africa, and Kenyans can also consume South African content. During Kalasha, I'm pleased to announce that South Africa will be sending a whole delegation of producers coming to participate in this year's Kalasha International Film and TV Market. And this gives us an opportunity to see to it that we craft programs that can actually go international. Beyond that, we have an avenue to host various producers during the festival and the market, and also having Kenyan producers submit their entries to international festivals like Sundance, American Film Market. Let's talk about the Shanghai International Film Festival, Cannes, among others. When we highly participate in these international events, then we extend our tentacles in a way that we can be able to make more international appearances.
And that is why you're calling it this year, and that is why you say that it's a little bit different. You're calling it the Kalasha Festival, not just the awards.
We have the market, the festival, and the awards. When I talk about the market, Kenya Film Commission has created a marketplace for filmmakers in Kenya, where buyers and sellers are able to connect. We'll have film businesses exhibiting at KICC. We'll have conferences taking place. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite all your viewers and yourself to come and participate in the conferences and workshops, because we have international experts who are coming in to bring a lot of experience as far as issues of policy, incentives, the business of film, how money connects to storytelling. And this time around we are saying, come and experience how art connects, money connects to arts.
And early on you mentioned South Africa and some of the collaborations that you have. Tell us more on one that you have with the South African government, on audio-visual production, something like that?
Kenya has an audio-visual co-production agreement with South Africa. And this is an agreement that the Kenyan government deliberately signed so that we can be able to open space for Kenyan producers to collaborate with their counterparts in South Africa. But that is just one. We are also working with other countries. Remember, in September last year, our Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Babu Namwamba, was able to again sign an agreement with the Chinese Minister for Culture and Tourism, where the focus is purely on film. And we are saying that we can be able to tell our stories to the world, open up the Chinese market as a market that can be able to consume Kenyan content. Beyond that, taking our content to European markets, Asian markets, and also African markets. Beyond that, the African Union has established an Africa Audiovisual Cinema Commission, which is being hosted by Kenya at Kenya Film Commission. And I can assure you, by the launch of the secretariat that will be running this AACC, will give us an opportunity to have Kenyan content go beyond its borders. When you look at the East African market alone, we have about 600 million people. This is a huge market that if a Kenyan producer was able to share his content with these 600 million East Africans who are able to speak Swahili, you can clearly see that we can be able to make a lot of wealth and propel more productions.
Yeah. And how do we protect filmmakers when it comes to working proper hours on set to avoid the situation that we saw in America, where some had really had placards and they had stopped their work? And how do we also ensure production houses get paid on time?
Okay, when it comes to paying, let's first appreciate that film, just like any other industry, is a professional industry. And when you are running a film business, you must adhere to the labor laws as prescribed in our Constitution and the Labor Act. No one is actually immune not to follow the laws that have been set to govern the operations of the film industry. I will talk about issues of health, issues of working hours, remuneration, and so on. And of course, beyond that, through a proper legislative framework, we would like to see to it that producers are able to observe the intellectual property rights, which every practitioner within the film industry has to be able to adhere to. Beyond that, think about having strong guilds and associations. The associations are meant to protect the practitioners in the industry. I'll give an example of Actors Guild. As an actor, the guild should be able to provide you with a red card. And this red card should be able to protect you as an actor as to how much you can be paid on any given project. So it's a collective effort between the practitioners and the government, because from where I sit, I advocate for more self-regulation as much as the government would provide the framework on how filmmakers should be able to operate. I would like to encourage filmmakers to promote more professionalism in their endeavors, and that way we can be able to win together.
And you also give, as the Kenya Film Commission, you also give grants to film producers. Tell us about that, and how do you monitor to ensure that that is not abused and high quality film that can even garner international recognitions are produced?
We cannot allow our gesture to support the film industry to be abused. The reason as to why the Kenya government established Kenya Film Commission was so that we act as a catalyst for growth and development in the industry. We would like to see to it that we have more cinema halls being established. And I'm calling upon investors in the country that we have an opportunity. You can imagine if we had 47 film screens in the country, with at least each county hosting a cinema hall. That will give us an avenue that you, as a producer based in Nairobi, you can be able to go to Meru, you can be able to go to Isiolo, Busia, or Machakos and screen your film at a fee. And as you do that, film does a lot just beyond entertainment. It can be able to help Kenyans gel together, communicate, interact, and also entertain. So this is an area that I highly encourage filmmakers that the Commission will continue to support, provide funding, so that we are able to produce more high-quality products. And remember, when we fund filmmakers to produce or to tell their stories, not only just we look at how many stories have been told, we look at how many people are we to create opportunities for as far as employment is concerned, and beyond that, what level of quality is Kenya Film Commission contributing towards enhancing the number of high-quality films that can be able to go to the international market. Remember, just like any other product in the market, a film product is like a soda, airtime, and so on. And where you have a competition, you must be able to brand your product in a manner that your product can be able to stand out tall. And that's what we would like to see that Kenyans are able to achieve.
As we wrap up, tell us something about what to expect in the Kalasha, in this year's Kalasha Film Festival. This time around, it's a festival. And will there be any monetization in terms of the prizes?
That's an interesting question.
Yes.
I think we should be open-minded in the sense that when we host Kalasha, we are providing a platform to appreciate filmmakers in a way that we are actually encouraging filmmakers to continue telling stories. So this year's Kalasha Awards is bigger, better, and anyone who is going to participate in the awards, just come knowing that you will be able to experience the best ever seen Kalasha Awards. Remember, we have hosted Kalasha from edition 1, and this is the 13th edition. When you look at that number from 1 to 13, 13 is greater than 1. So definitely, Kalasha 13th edition is going to be one of the biggest. And again, not only are we just looking at rewarding the filmmakers, but we're also giving them an opportunity to come and market their stories, connect, create opportunities in terms of co-production, learn, and also have an avenue to see what is happening in terms of trends. Think about the role of technology, AI in storytelling. How is it going to affect you? And how do you make money? How do you protect your productions so that no one can be able to take away your story? Because at the end of the day, if you are able to reap from your production, then we are all happy because you are helping our economy to grow.
All right.
Yes.
The 13th edition of the Kalasha Awards will be on 30th of this month, and a lot of international producers and crews will be here. So if you're in the film industry, this is a very good opportunity. It's the 13th edition, and as CEO says that 13 is greater than 1, so we have moved strides. And of course, check out their website because they have even grants, just as he said, for filmmakers to benefit from. I've been speaking to Timothy Owase, who is the CEO of the Kenya Film Commission, putting some things into perspective, especially the state of the film industry in Kenya. And that's where we put a cap. My name is Njue. Lensa Odingo has been a sign language interpreter for this live newscast. And now giving the baton to the Swahili desk, Nancy Okware is ready for Kurunzi, Mashinani, and Tamrini. Do have yourself a blessed morning, afternoon.